Welcome to Dextercast, the podcast where we explore different perspectives on the issues that matter. I'm Malmö, your host and guide today. In this episode, I'm joined by Carlos and Luca to talk to them about Climate Action Week, which will take place for the second time from November 27th to December 13th at Malmö University. Join me as they share their takeaways of the past Climate Action Week, their vision for the future and the motivations behind the project. Thank you both for joining me today so that we can learn more about Climate Action Week. Before we talk about that, let's start by you two introducing yourselves.
My name is Luca Berardi. I'm 20, and if the last name didn't already give it away, I'm half Italian, but half Kenyan too. And I'm studying international relations here at Malmö University.
My name is Carlos. I'm 33, a little bit older than you, Luca. And I did my master's here at Malmö University on leadership for sustainability. And I'm from Puerto Rico. I'm from the Caribbean, so that's basically a little bit of my background.
And maybe you could also introduce Climate Action Week. What is this Climate Action Week that you're working on? What's the basic idea behind it?
I mean, when I started, it was doing my master's. It was the year that I was doing my master. It didn't have the name Climate Action Week or anything. Everything started with the idea of presenting COP. So as I started to study, I was like, okay, my program is called Leadership for Sustainability, but there is no action in the university that we're taking to maybe be more like aware of what is happening in the world when it comes to sustainability and climate change and policy making. Like we as a students, we have no idea what is happening, and there's this thing called COP, and it was like, wow, all the leaders are meeting in this place and they're taking decisions for ourselves, so we have no clue. So that was the first, if you can call it Climate Action Week. It didn't have any name or anything, and it was just me and another colleague of mine, Amelie. She's living in Singapore. We just started with the hope that students would come to the library just to get a glimpse of what COP was about, and we would just engage into conversations. So I graduated, we had an experience. It was not that great, but we did it. Then the second year, it was last year, the first year of Climate Action Week, actually, with the name. So I brought it into the new, program, class 2023, because it's going to be 2024, whoever graduate in July, right?
Yeah.
So I brought it into them, and there was a group of energetic people, and they were like, yeah, we're going to do something called Climate Action Week. And Luca was already part of that. Like we incorporate different kind of students. So that's how the idea of Climate Action Week basically started. It was 2022, 2023.
And now 2024.
And now 2024. So that's basically a little bit of the background of how this Climate Action Week started.
So the basic idea is that students engage more with the topic of climate change and decision making and gain more awareness of what is going on.
Indeed. And little that I know, I was combining with people like Luca that has been a long life activist. So I was like, wow, they can teach us way more, because my idea was so vague, but it quickly became into a concept. And it was like, there's people that actually want to do something, so we can turn this into a great activity. So of course, it's a students-based, organization, if you want to call it like that. And what we do, is just try to raise awareness on the students on how can we help them to navigate first with knowledge. So what can they know more about the climate change and climate action? But also, as we have spoke a lot, is more about giving them tools as well to how to, to how to navigate this climate action theme. So, but if you want to add something else, Luca.
No, I think you pretty much nailed it on the head, because what's really trying to get students more active in the theme of climate and sustainability and just environmental consciousness. As Carlos said, also providing them with tools and knowledge to make decisions about what's also going on in the grander decision-making platforms like COP, but also take that grandness and also apply that into a smaller scale in their own lives, and see what is it that I can take from this whole big issue and apply it into my everyday and see how I can make an impact with those around me. And also, there's no better setting than also in the university with students from so many different places and different interests that could also get as much momentum as we've done, especially in this past year. So it's been really great.
Did you get any feedback from participants, what they learned, that led to any change of perception or changes in their lives?
I think every student had their own impact, I think, but one story that I can get back that actually I remember vividly from last year is that I hosted a workshop with Climate Fresque, which is a game, and there was these 2 teachers from Germany, actually, and they actually took the game to do with their students back in Germany. So they thought that, wow, like we can play this game with our students, and we can actually, teach them a little bit more about the effects and consequences of climate change. So that for me was, already like a reward, because I could see that, okay, things that we can do here, you can take it into your daily life, as a professional. And I think, they all can speak about, like, maybe we had so many, different workshops. So yeah, I'm pretty sure we had some really good feedback about the event last year.
That sounds really good. I'm very sad now that I missed it. But
we're going to have one this year. So.
Yeah, you can catch that one.
Exactly.
And for you personally, is there anything about the process of organizing and engaging in this particular kind of activism, but also content-wise from the workshops or the lectures that you organized and are organizing, is there anything you would say that has impacted you in particular or changed how you see or approach a specific issue?
Well, I guess for me, because like Carlos said, I've been doing this for a little bit, and when I really started out, it was actually focused on awareness building, especially among youth and students in schools. So I had a little bit of the experience from like hosting workshops and talking about the importance, mostly about endangered wildlife then, but now bringing it into like the grander, broader theme of environment and climate and how everything impacts everything, because also that's also the nice thing about having so many diverse perspectives, not only with planning, but also with an audience who's coming in to listen and also pitch in with what they think, is that the diversity of experiences makes everyone very unique in how they approach the subject and how they think about it. And so maybe for the past 10 years, I've been thinking about it in a certain way. But then I'll go to a workshop and someone will bring up a very interesting question, and that obviously can change, turn everything on its head. And so that's also hopefully something that we maybe want to achieve too, that even if you have encountered the subject a little bit, maybe you'll meet someone or listen to someone during the event that makes you think, I never thought about it that way before. That's interesting. Maybe I can think about that a little bit more. So I think that's also an interesting thing to try have that impact last longer and beyond the event itself, just to create that conversation.
Yeah, he just said it all. Also for me was the fact that I knew that within the students, there's this drive of doing change and try to move it. And I knew that if I just plant a seed in the students, I knew that they were just waiting for that, opportunity so they can, get active.
The spark.
And that's all that I brought in. I was like, I've been a student. I know that when we come here, we're so energetic about just changing the world, and we really want to do a lot. Why not? Why not try to plant that seed and see where it goes? And that for me has already been like mind blowing, because as I said, before, I started in a classroom just with a projector and a computer, trying to put, COP26. Last year we have a week full of event. This year the guys went nuts and they have a 2 or 3 weeks event, really like amazing. So in my head now, I don't know where are we going to end. Maybe it's going to be, something really great. But at the end, it was like a teamwork, it's like, and that has been really just surprising to me to see that because I haven't been part in the planning this year, I was just putting always that seed, and then they are the ones, just watering them and let it grow. And that's also part of my philosophy, of life. Like, we are not here forever, so you have to plant in the people a seed that can grow, right? And you need to give them and provide them the right seed, first of all, the good water, the soil to, just to try to make it grow. So that, for me, how I can, explain it better.
It's impressive how this project grows so much.
Yeah.
And just...
It's because also I can say, if I can just add, we have this notion of leaders, that leaders are the one that always have to take the lead of everything. But that doesn't mean that I have to decide for everybody else, Maybe in my head, a good leader is just someone that it will maybe, try to track you to the right path, but at the end, he will just let you go, and you will figure out, of course, always try to follow you in the path, but not leading you all the way. Maybe you can develop that and you can lead. Why? Because you have different eyes. You can see different things that I cannot see. So I think that's what you were saying, Luca, right? Like, we all have a different kind of perspective, but when we come together in the same topic, it's really beautiful to see that we can all think differently, but we can also agree and move forward with different solutions. And at the end, that's the whole idea of Climate Action Week, basically.
I mean, I guess especially with climate change, which is such a complex issue, this is really what's necessary. You need a lot of different people with different experiences, with different tools and skill sets to somehow do something about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And if you look into the future, you kind of said you don't know where it's gonna go, but where would you like it to go? What's your vision for Climate Action Week in the future?
I think Climate Action Week should be something that all universities in Sweden and around the world, in my opinion, parallel to COP, there should be a Climate Action Week event for youth and for all the universities, because I think what we bring is a fresh perspective. What I learned also from COP is that it's the same, all political way of doing things. So they might do some good things, but I think that the innovation and driver that the youth bring to it is unparalleled. And that's why I see that, I hope that we can keep going it in Malmö University, for years to come, and might, just replicate in other universities of Sweden. That would be, for me, great. But the first thing is just to try to keep it going every year in Malmö University. So. Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely been an upward trend with how complex the events have also gotten, like since the beginning.
Definitely.
So we only hope that can continue into the very distant future.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's also because of the trend that we've seen also at the same time, especially with the involvement of youth in big scale issues that affect our world today. We've seen an increasingly active sector of people who just want to have their voices heard, and that's incredibly important. And with issues as complex, as you said, as climate change, it's very easy to just go with the very easy tokenist approach of just having the face of the person that you're supposed to be representing, but never hearing the voice. And I think especially in a university with, people who are about to go into jobs and, basically adult life, right? In a moment where we're thinking very critically about where we're going and where the world is going, it's really important that those opinions are heard from those people. So this is a way to voice them, and I think that hopefully we'll do a good job.
Yeah. So short term, that the university might adopt it. I think we have also
self-sustaining.
Yeah. I think that's something that I like a lot. The self-sustain, that's also how I think about, how leadership should be. If you're a good leader, it's self-sustain itself. So we hope that for years to come, maybe we will have like a timeline, say maybe in 5 years, if we're still here, then this can, be like translated into Lund University maybe, or Stockholm University. We don't know. There's a lot of universities in Sweden.
A lot of possibilities.
Exactly, but yeah.
So maybe bringing it then back to the concrete activities you have planned for this year's Climate Action Week. I had a brief look at your program. So you have lectures, you have workshops, you have, I think, a clothing swap. So a very broad program of more knowledge-based, more practice-based activities maybe. Could you give a brief overview of the different events you have?
So of course, it's very, very diverse. In comparison to last year, we had a lot more workshops, so it was a lot more. We want to make it a lot more engaging this year, and I think also another plan of ours was to make the connection to COP a lot more clear. So we also have, of course, a few workshops which are, really explicitly pointing out, okay, what is COP, and talking about the kinds of decisions that are being made. We're going to be hopefully streaming some of the discussions that are going to be taking place in a few weeks. And, rounding up, as we round up our Climate Action Weeks, the actual COP will be also wrapping up. So both in tandem, we want to draw conclusions from that and show, okay, what can students do from that? And I think it's important that we have these different kinds of activities to really broaden the horizon of what it is to be active in climate, because, sometimes it's not for everyone to be out in the streets shouting for action. But, there's multiple ways, of course. None of them are correct, but all of them together will lead to change. And it's important that we underline and we underscore that no action is too small, and especially in a community that really cares about an issue, no dream is too big. So I think that we're of course, so you mentioned some of them, like clothing swaps, a few lectures from different people who have been invited from other organizations that are dealing with particular aspects of this issue. And then, of course, our kickoff panel, which is going to be focusing a lot more, trying to give answers about what it is to be an activist as a student, and what can we expect from the university to also play as a role in the fight for climate action. So it's going to be very fun. Hope you guys can take part. It's going to be a very interesting ride, for sure.
Definitely. No, I'll be here for that, for sure. But yeah, I think that's actually quite on point. And we just, maybe this year they expanded more. Like, like you said, also something is that the climate action, like the word action in this kind of fields,
exactly,
they always associate with people in the streets, with the banner. But what we have learned is that there's people that they might want to take action, but they don't want to be seen maybe doing that, because at the end, it's a sociological fact that if you're seen with those people, then they will think, oh, you're like a hippie and all these things, which makes no sense, right? Because I have always said, even in my work, it's like you have to have the right balance in the world. If it was not because of those people outside in the street, who would know where we will be in this day? Amen. So we have to respect their work, and they have to respect our work. And also from their work, they don't see us, people that are inside of a classroom or inside of an office or like a hall, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. They don't see that our work is being valued, because for them action is me walking, me, doing disobedience and all that. And I think that's something that we're trying to get here. It's like, how can we bridge these two worlds? Exactly. And we just get together and say, hey, we're doing action. It's just in different ways. Maybe I'm not, going out with a banner, but I'm also taking action in my daily life by maybe changing my diet, or maybe I'm not flying, that frequently. So that's how I see it also, as a bridge that can connect the two ideas or the drivers, because at the end we have the same goal. We want the same maybe world, a better place for everybody. It's just we're using, two different techniques, and both are valued. We also have people that have been active in the streets that are, with us.
Exactly. And that are also giving lectures or presentations. Exactly. So, there's also an interdependency there. Yeah. That, one cannot exist without the other, because one really highlights the urgency, but the other one, really cements like the content. And I think also it's very important. I think because this is ultimately our goal. It's also the knowledge, providing an awareness, which is really important before as a step, before you take action. So.
Is there anything else that you want to mention, bring up, highlight?
Well, if we just want to maybe specify the 27th of November to the 13th of December, that's when the Climate Action Week is taking place in Malmö University. There's a bunch of different materials out there already on social media talking about what's happening. So take a look and hope to see you there.
Yeah, and don't be shy. Don't stay home or don't stay at the dorm. Come and see what other people are doing. Usually we are not afraid, but we're just skeptics. Sometimes we're looking from the outside and it's like, what are they doing there? Just always give yourself the opportunity to experience something new. And then at the end, if you don't like it, we're fine with it, but at least you were there, you try and you listen, and that's more than we can ask. It's just give it a try, because there are really people that are putting a lot of work into it, and they're really passionate about what they want to do. So.
And at the end of the day, if you take home something new, then we would have reached our goal. So.
Definitely. Yeah.
And on the 12th of December, the 12th of December, you also have an online event, right?
Yes. There's a call, I think a discussion with someone from or very connected to COP actually. So that's also going to be interesting.
So even people who aren't in Malmö physically during.
Exactly. So, I guess we can also capitalize on that next year when we do the event to have also more accessible events online. But, so you don't have to be on site, but,
Yeah. Maybe for that kind of activity, we should maybe, open it for people outside.
Yeah, for sure.
And where can people find you on social media?
We have a Climate Action Week at Malmö University page on LinkedIn and also on Instagram, where we're also publishing stuff about specific events throughout the week, so you can get more information about what's going on, where and when.
Have a look at the program.
Yes, it's quite big this year.
Yeah, terrific.
So they have plenty of options to choose from.
For sure.
And common. I think this year is also really like diverse. I think there's so many different topics this year.
Yeah.
That makes it really cool actually. So I'm looking forward for it. Oh, maybe I can also say that I'll be also hosting the Climate First game.
Exactly.
So if you
a return appearance.
Exactly. If you want to learn more about the causes, effects of climate change through a game that was designed by the IPCC, or using the IPCC, report, you can come. I think it's the Thursday, the 30th of November.
Might be. I think it's early in the weeks.
And it's a really practical game actually, that using knowledge and a game, you get to know more about the causes and effects of climate change, and we always have great feedback of that game. So please come.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. It is a really fun game.
It is
to play.
I hope you enjoyed listening to this episode of Dextercast. If you're interested in Climate Action Week, you can find the links to their social media as well as this year's program in the description.